So the last year or so I've been interested in building wheels. I think the first wheel I built, not counting what I did years and years ago, was on my bike that only had a 15 point of engagement hub on it. So I changed it out with one that has 72 points of engagement. Boy, what a difference that made. So I had two other bikes that both had 36 POE hubs, so I went ahead and changed those out. And by doing that, I learned more about spokes and nipples than I ever knew. Facts that what do they say? You don't know what you don't know? Well, I didn't know what I didn't know. One of the things I've learned, besides getting the proper spoke length, how to measure my rims and all that, is the importance of a 14 millimeter long spoke as opposed to the normal 12 millimeter long spoke. Also, I've learned how important it is to have a steel nipple versus, say, an aluminum or a brass nipple. Actually, what I've learned is probably would never get an aluminum nipple, period. I watched a video a couple weeks ago from a wheelsmith explaining why getting the 14 millimeter nipples has no advantage over the shorter one. His claim was that the number of threads here are between 20 and 21. Actually, I've counted 21. And so for this to go all the way in, it's 21 turns. It is, I've counted them. Actually, he claimed it's 20 turns, it's actually 21 turns in the case of this particular spoke end. But it turns out that the 12 millimeter nipple only has 15 turns until it stops. And the place it stops, I'm going to show this in a picture, is right at the top of this mushroom head on the nipple. Okay, now, can you go more than 15 turns? Yeah, if you force it. So this one, you can see that it's gone past, and I will actually show a picture of this again. And of course that isn't right. Now you have something poking up through your rim tape or into your tube, and that can cause problems. Plus, if it's at this point, either your spokes are way the heck too long, or you're just warping your rim. These threads here for this demonstration are cut threads, so it'll just fit through, so I don't have to destroy this nipple. Not that I'm going to use it again. Okay, so another advantage of these longer steel nipples, is, even though you may not go in all the way, you don't have to have the threads up there to give the strength to the top of the mushroom, because these are steel, where this could be either aluminum, which I think is useless, or brass. They're still a lot weaker than the steel. So the steel, you can have especially on a long one, you can have the spoke in halfway. Not that I would. It's still going to be plenty strong. So when I measure these spokes, I go for all the way in, out 6 turns. I put these down. I'll take a known length. I usually use 275s on each side, and then I measure the difference in between, and it gives me just the right amount of depth into the rim. And when it's all laced up, I try to make every nipple the same depth into the spoke, which is roughly what you can see there and what you can't really see there. And it makes for a nice, tight, straight lace. And of course, when I'm done lacing them, I get them all the same length, and then I start checking the tension. And I make the tension all the way around on the right side the same, all the way around on the left side the same. And if you've measured the spokes correctly, it should be all 32 or all 36 spokes should have the same tension. Also, I used to live in Las Vegas and southern Utah, and I never had a problem with rusting or corrosion. And if you look at these, you can see how black they are in the end. And some of these got so bad, so corroded around the spoke, when I was taking them off the spokes, I actually broke a spoke. So the advantage being, of course, that this is stronger. You don't have to be all the way to the very end, and it'll be perfect. You won't have to worry about it breaking. Okay, the other thing is, I used to live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and then I moved up to Cedar City, Utah, and I never had a problem with corrosion like I showed just a second ago here. And so what I've started doing, and this wasn't my own idea, I saw it, somebody posted online, put anti-seize lubricant on the threads. And that does a couple of things. Actually, it makes these move smoother when you're adjusting the rim, and it protects them from corrosion or rust, which comes from the spoke later on. Also, what I do is, and like I said, this wasn't my suggestion, this is from watching another video. This guy actually put grease. In my case, I just put this anti-seize lubricant, which is basically grease, on the end, so we don't even get water down here, and it won't have a situation like that.